My name is Megan, and I am 28 years old. I am the one in my family who never asks for help, the one who pays her own bills, the one everyone calls when their lives are falling apart. But that night at the dinner table, something in me finally snapped. My mom put down her fork, wiped her mouth, and said it like she was reading a weather report. Your sister will be moving in with you next month. Not a question, not a request, a decision. I felt my jaw clench. My chest tighten like someone was pressing a boot into it. No, I said before I could stop myself. She is not. The room went silent. My sister stared at me, shocked. My mom blinked slowly as if she had misheard me. What did you just say? She asked. I said no, I repeated. I am not taking her in. I am not doing this again. Her chair scraped back. She stood up so fast her napkin fell to the floor. You ungrateful brat, she hissed, and then her hand cracked across my face. The slap rang in my ears, hot and humiliating. Have you ever felt your whole childhood hit you in a single moment? Every time you stayed quiet, every time you swallowed your anger, every time you told yourself family comes first. I did not cry. I did not beg. I just pushed my chair back, grabbed my bag, and walked out. Behind me, my mom screamed my name, her voice breaking. But I did not turn around. What would you have done if your own mother treated you like a tool, not a daughter? Would you keep sacrificing yourself? Or would you finally walk away? That night, I did not know it yet. But her slap was the last time she would ever hit me without consequences. Before I tell you how that slap turned into a revenge my family will never forget, stay until the end, because one decision I made after that dinner changed everything for all of us. I did not go straight home after that dinner. I walked until my legs ached and my cheek stopped burning. The taste of metal in my mouth slowly faded, but the anger did not. I kept hearing her words on loop. Ungrateful. Brat. As if I had not worked 2 jobs in college while my sister stayed home, figuring things out. As if I had not lent them money whenever the lights were about to be cut off. My phone buzzed. It was my roommate and best friend. Where are you? You were supposed to be home an hour ago. I stared at the screen for a moment before typing back. I need to talk. Can you meet me at the cafe? A few minutes later, I was sitting at our usual table, hands still trembling. Daisy rushed in, dropped her bag, and sat across from me. Megan, what happened? I took a deep breath. My mom just announced that my sister would move in with me, I said. No warning, no asking. Just decided. I said no. She slapped me. Daisy leaned back, eyes going wide. She hit you? Again? Her word hung in the air. Again. Maybe you are wondering the same thing. How many times do you forgive before you realize forgiveness has turned into permission? How long do you let someone cross your boundaries before you admit there are no boundaries left? My name is Megan Wilson, I added quietly, like I was reminding myself I was a person, not just a role. I am 28. I pay my rent. I pay my bills. I am not a child they can order around. Daisy exhaled slowly. Okay, start from the beginning. Tell me everything. So I did. I told her about years of being the responsible one, how my mom, whose name is Helen, always said, Megan can handle it. How my older sister Jessica floated from job to job, always landing back at our mother's house whenever things got hard. I told her about the time my college savings disappeared because Jessica needed a car to get to work. About the time my mom guilted me into paying for my sister's debt because family does not let each other drown. And now, I finished, they want me to be her free live-in therapist, maid, and babysitter again. I said no. Apparently, that makes me selfish. Daisy tapped her fingers on the table, thinking. You know what your problem is? She finally said. I snorted. Just one? You do not let yourself get angry long enough. she said. You always fold. You say no for a second, then guilt eats you alive, and you end up saying yes. How many times has this pattern repeated? Too many. Have you ever noticed that the people who call you selfish are usually the ones who profit most from your selflessness? Have you ever asked yourself who would fall apart if you stopped saving them? What if this time you do not fold? Daisy asked. What if you do not just walk away from that dinner, but actually change the rules? What does that even mean? I asked. They are my family. Family or not, she said. No one gets to hit you and then expect free housing. She leaned closer. Look, she continued, you do not need to start a war, but you can protect yourself. You can gather proof, draw a line, and make it clear there are consequences if they keep using you. You told me about all the times Jessica borrowed money, promised to pay you back, then lied. Do you still have those messages? I blinked. Yeah. I never delete anything. Good, Daisy said. Keep them. Screenshots, bank transfers, everything. If they want to paint you as the villain, you might need to remind everyone of the actual story. A cold clarity slid over my anger. I had spent my whole life being the good daughter, the one who kept the peace, the one who kept her mouth shut. What if, for once, I stopped protecting their image and started protecting myself? Are you telling me to get revenge? I asked. I am telling you, Daisy replied, to stop being their scapegoat. If that looks like revenge to them, maybe that says more about what they have done than about you. Would you do it if you were me? Would you collect evidence against your own family, knowing it might tear everything apart, just to finally be free? I did not sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, my cheek throbbing where my mom's hand had landed. My phone screen glowed beside me, full of years of messages I had tried to forget. Can you spot me $200 this month? I swear I will pay you back. Mom said you could help with my rent just this once. You are the only one who understands. The same pattern over and over. I opened the banking app and scrolled. Transfers to my mom, transfers to my sister. Rent, utilities, emergencies that somehow kept happening every month. I started taking screenshots. I labeled them in a folder on my laptop, for when they call me ungrateful. It felt wrong. It also felt right. Have you ever done something that scared you and liberated you at the same time? Like stepping out of a burning house, knowing everyone else inside still insists it is warm and cozy? The next day, my mom texted, "We need to talk. Park at 4. Do not be dramatic this time." I almost laughed. At 4, I walked into the park where we had met so many times before. This time, I was not the daughter who came to fix things. I was the woman who had receipts. My mom was already there, sitting on a bench, arms folded. Jessica stood nearby, pretending to scroll on her phone, but her eyes kept flicking toward me. "So," my mom began, "about yesterday. You overreacted." Overreacted. She had slapped me in front of everyone and I had simply left. What exactly did I overreact to? I asked calmly. Your sister is going through a hard time and you refused to help, my mom said. I was embarrassed, Megan. What kind of daughter refuses to open her home to family? The word daughter felt like a chain. What kind of mother hits her adult child for saying no? I replied. Jessica scoffed. Oh, come on, it was a slap, not a crime. I took out my phone and opened a screenshot. Do you remember this? I asked, holding it up. 3 years ago, you asked me for $500 to cover your rent because you had lost your job. You promised to pay me back in 2 months. Jessica frowned. So what? Why are you bringing that up? Because you never paid me back, I said. Then you did it again. And again. Every time, Mom said I should help because I have my life together. She called it being a good sister. My mom shifted uncomfortably. That is what families do. Really? I swiped to another screenshot. Is it also what families do when they pressure one daughter into giving up her college fund so the other daughter can buy a car she crashes 3 months later? My mom's face went pale. Where are you going with this? She asked quietly. I looked at both of them. You call me ungrateful, I said. You call me selfish. But here is what I have actually given you over the last 10 years. I handed my mom a printed list I had prepared that morning. Dates, amounts, reasons. Over $10,000. Have you ever wished you could lay your entire pain on the table just once and say, "This is what you did to me. This is why I am not okay"? Jessica grabbed the paper and skimmed it. Why are you doing this? She snapped. Are you trying to humiliate us? No, I said. I am done pretending I am the problem. You want to move in with me, live for free, while I work 40 hours a week? No, not anymore. My mom swallowed hard. So what exactly are you saying? I am saying I will not be your safety net, I answered. If Jessica cannot pay her rent, she can talk to her landlord or get a second job. If you cannot cover her, that is between you two. I am removing myself from this pattern. And if we end up on the street? Jessica challenged. I held her gaze. Then you will finally learn what responsibility feels like, I said. I learned it at 18. You are 32. My mom's eyes filled with tears, but they were not the tears of someone who understood. They were the tears of someone losing control. You are going to regret this, she said. People will hear about what you did. They will know you turned your back on your own family. I thought of all the times she had called friends and relatives, twisting the story to make herself the victim. Maybe they should hear the full story then, I replied quietly, with details. Would you let your own mother threaten your reputation to keep you in line? Or would you finally make it clear that if she went public, you would too? The smear campaign started the next day. My aunt called first. Megan, what is going on? Your mother says you screamed at her in the park and refused to help your poor sister, who is on the verge of homelessness. I closed my eyes. There it was. Same script, new audience. Did she also mention the 10,000 I have sent them over the years? I asked. The college fund I never saw again? The slap at dinner? Silence. Then a sigh. Your mother is under a lot of stress, my aunt said weakly. Maybe you should be more understanding. There it was again. Understanding. How many times had that word been used as a knife wrapped in silk? Be more understanding. Be more patient. Be more forgiving. Why was I the only one who had to be more of anything? That night, I sat at my laptop and opened the family group chat. Mom, I do not know what I did to deserve such a cold daughter. Jessica, imagine choosing your pride over your own family. I stared at the screen, then at the folder of screenshots on my desktop. Daisy, I said, if I drop all of this into the group chat, is that going too far? She looked at me from the other side of the couch. Do you want revenge or do you want clarity? Both, I admitted. Then do it clean, she said. No insults, just facts. Let them decide who the villain is. So I wrote, for everyone who has heard that I am ungrateful and selfish, I want you to see what actually happened over the last 10 years. Then I attached a PDF with the list of transfers, screenshots of promises, and one short sentence at the end. I am not turning my back on my family. I am turning my back on being used. I hit send. You know that feeling when you throw something off a cliff and cannot pull it back? That was my stomach dropping. Would they hate me? Would they accuse me of airing dirty laundry? Would they finally see I was not the problem? Within minutes, the chat exploded. A cousin. I had no idea, Megan. Another cousin. Wait, she never paid you back for any of this? My aunt. This is a lot. My mom. How dare you humiliate us like this? You are sick. Jessica. You are obsessed with money. Get over yourself. I typed slowly. This is not about money. This is about respect, boundaries, and consequences. I will not finance or house someone who refuses to stand on her own feet. That night, I got another message. Not from my family, from an unknown number. Hi, this is Mark, your sister's manager. I found your number through a mutual contact. I saw the screenshots circulating in the family chat, including the ones where Jessica said she needed money because she was between jobs, while she told us she was caring for a sick parent. I think we need to talk. My heart stopped. The screenshots were moving beyond the family now. I had not sent them to him. Someone else must have. Was this what I wanted? Was this revenge or a disaster spiraling out of control? Daisy watched my face. Who is that? Her manager, I whispered. He thinks she lied about why she missed work. Did she? I nodded slowly. She told me she skipped shifts because she was depressed and needed rest. She told them she was taking our mom to appointments. She told my mom she lost her job because the company was cruel. Have you ever realized that you were not just part of a toxic system, you were the fuel? That all the money, all the cover stories, all the quiet support allowed someone else to lie without consequences? Call him, Daisy said. I hesitated. If I confirm anything, she could lose her job. And if you lie for her again, Daisy replied gently. What changes? I called. Thank you for taking my call, Mark said. His voice was steady, professional, but I could hear the fatigue. I just want to understand, he continued. Jessica told us she had to take time off to care for a sick parent. She sent us messages about urgent appointments. But the screenshots your family is sharing show her asking you for money because she spent her paycheck on online shopping and nights out. I swallowed hard. I did not send those screenshots to you, I said. But they are real. So she lied, he said quietly. Yes, I replied. She has lied to all of us for years. To me, to our mother, apparently to you too. He exhaled. I am sorry you are going through that. Unfortunately, I cannot keep her on the team if she is lying about her absences. It is not just unprofessional, it is dangerous when we plan shifts around false information. I closed my eyes. I could already hear my mother's voice in my head. This is your fault. You ruined her life. Do what you have to do, I said. When I hung up, my hands were shaking. Are you okay? Daisy asked. I think I just helped get my sister fired, I said numbly. Does that make me a monster? Or does it make me finally honest? If someone keeps burning every bridge they cross, are you cruel for refusing to lay down as the next bridge? The next day, Jessica showed up at my apartment door. She did not knock. She pounded. I opened it a crack, chain still on. What do you want? I asked. Her eyes were wild, red-rimmed. You got me fired, she spat. Mark said he talked to you. You told him I lied. I told him the truth, I corrected. You did lie. You could have covered for me, she screamed. You always did before. What is wrong with you? Nothing, I said. That is the point. Nothing is wrong with me. I am just done. She slammed her palm against the door. Do you understand what you have done? I have no job, no savings, and my landlord wants rent by Friday. Mom said you refused to help. Are you trying to make me homeless? Her words were like hooks, each one meant to drag me back into the old pattern. You knew your rent was due, I said. You knew missing shifts would have consequences. You chose to lie. This is not happening to you. You created it. She laughed bitterly. You think you are better than us now, just because you have some stupid savings account and a friend who drinks overpriced coffee with you? Yes, I said evenly, surprising even myself. I am better than the version of myself who let you walk all over her. Her face twisted. I hope you sleep well, knowing you destroyed your own family. Maybe for the first time, I replied. I will. She stormed off, shouting into her phone, and I shut the door. I leaned against it, chest heaving. Have you ever stood your ground so hard that you felt like you might collapse afterward? Not from doubt, but from the weight of years finally sliding off your shoulders? That evening, my mom called. I let it go to voicemail. The next day, she came herself. She did not knock. She banged. "Megan, open this door right now," she shouted. "How dare you talk to her boss? How dare you send those messages?" I opened the door, this time with Daisy standing behind me. "I did not send anything to her boss," I said. "But I did tell him the truth when he called. I will not lie for Jessica anymore." My mom stepped closer, eyes blazing. I saw the same look she had at the dinner table, right before she slapped me. "You ruined her life," she hissed. "What kind of daughter does that? What kind of sister?" "The kind who is tired of being hit and used," I replied. "Hit me again and I will call the police." Her hand twitched. For a second I saw the impulse. Then she froze. Daisy stepped into view. "Mrs. Wilson, I am a witness now," she said. "If you touch her, I will back her up." My mom's eyes darted between us. "You would call the police on your own mother?" she asked. "If a stranger did what you have done to me, no one would even question it," I said. "Why should the rules be different just because we share DNA? What would you do if the person who raised you became the person you needed protection from? Would you keep covering for them, or would you finally choose yourself, even if the world called it betrayal?" After that day at my door, something shifted. My mom stopped screaming for a while. Instead, she started pleading, text after text. "Jessica is staying with me for now, but I cannot afford this. If you would just let her move in, we could all breathe. Why are you punishing us?" Punishing. That word made my skin crawl. I did not reply. I went to work, came home, cooked simple meals, and tried to build a life that was not centered around their chaos. It felt strange, almost wrong, to have quiet evenings. No emergency phone calls, no sudden requests for money. Then one evening, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. "Hi, this is Dr. Patel. Your mother and sister are here in my office. They say you are refusing to talk to them and they are concerned about your mental health. Would you be willing to come in so we can all discuss this together?" I almost laughed out loud. "They are worried about my mental health?" I asked. "That is what they told me," he said gently. "They said you have become cold and vindictive." Vindictive. There it was. The label they would use instead of admitting I had finally grown a spine. "With all due respect," I said, "I am not the one who lied, hit, and manipulated. I am not the one begging for money. I am the one who said no." Silence. Then he asked, "Would you be open to a separate session? Alone? You sound like you have carried a lot." For a moment I considered it. Had I gone too far? Was I actually punishing them, or was I simply refusing to be punished anymore? Where was the line between revenge and justice? "Maybe," I said, "but not today." After I hung up, Daisy looked at me. "They are trying to flip the script," she said. "If you will not play caretaker, they will try to make you the crazy one." "Maybe I am crazy," I muttered. "I helped get my own sister fired." "You told the truth," she replied. "If the truth destroys something, that thing was built on lies." Weeks passed. Bills piled up for them. My mom sent me pictures of overdue notices, like they were my responsibility. "Do you want your family on the street?" she wrote. I wrote back one sentence. "I want my family to learn that I am not their bank." Finally, one night, they showed up again. This time, they did not come to my apartment. They waited outside my office building. When I walked out, there they were, under the flickering streetlight. "Megan," my mom called, voice hoarse. "Please, we need to talk." People were walking by. Coworkers, strangers. I felt my stomach twist. "Here?" I asked. You really want to do this here? Maybe then someone will see what you are doing to us, Jessica said. Maybe then they will see what kind of person you are. Her hair was unwashed. Dark circles sat under her eyes. For the first time, I saw fear there, not just entitlement. Fine, I said. Talk. My mom stepped forward. We are sorry, she said. The words sounded foreign in her mouth. We should not have hit you. We should not have taken advantage of you. I blinked. Is this an apology or a setup? It is both, Jessica said bluntly. We are sorry, but we also need help. I am on a payment plan with my landlord, but if I miss one more rent, I am out. Mom is behind on utilities. You know we cannot handle this alone. So there it was. The same pattern, with a new layer of pretty words on top. Let me ask you something, I said. If I give you money again, if I let you move in again, what changes? My mom opened her mouth, but no words came. Are you going to therapy? I asked Jessica. Real therapy, not just using my name with some doctor to make me look unstable. She looked away. I cannot afford it. You can afford cigarettes, I said quietly. You can afford takeout. You can afford new shoes. You just cannot afford responsibility. She flinched. Here is my offer, I continued. I will pay for 3 months of therapy for you. I will send the money directly to the clinic, not to you. I will not house you. I will not cover your rent. I will not be your emergency plan. You do the work, or you face the consequences. My mom stared at me. That is cruel, she whispered. Is it? I asked. Or is it the first time anyone has given Jessica a chance to grow instead of a cushion to fall on? What would you have done? Open your door again and lose yourself, or give them one hard, narrow path and let them choose whether to walk it? 3 months later, the storm looked different. Not gone, just changed. Jessica did take the therapy sessions. At first, I thought she would quit after 1 or 2, but she kept going. Sometimes, late at night, I would get a text. Today was rough. My therapist asked why I always expect someone else to fix things. Or, I did not realize how much I blamed you for my own bad decisions. I never wrote long replies, just short ones. I'm glad you are talking about it. Keep going. My mom, on the other hand, went quieter. There were fewer long guilt-ridden messages and more short, confused ones. I did not know it was that bad for you, she wrote once. I thought you were strong enough to handle everything. Being strong is not a compliment when it is an excuse to hurt someone. One afternoon, Jessica asked if we could meet. Not at my apartment, not at my office. At the park, she wrote. Where this started? I agreed. When I arrived, she was already there on the bench. She looked smaller somehow. Not physically, but in the way her shoulders were no longer thrown back in lazy arrogance. Hey, she said. Hey, I replied. We sat in silence for a while. Kids laughed in the distance. A dog barked. The normal sounds of other people's lives. I got a part-time job, she said finally. At a grocery store. It is not glamorous, but it is mine. I nodded. That is good. I hate it, she admitted with a half laugh. But my therapist says hating something does not mean you do not have to do it. I smiled despite myself. Sounds like you have a good therapist. She took a deep breath. I was really angry at you, she said. I thought you had ruined my life on purpose. I kept thinking, if she had just lied for me one more time, I would have been fine. Were you fine? I asked. She shook her head. No, I was drowning. I just did not want to admit it. She looked at me, really looked at me. You were my safety net, she continued. I never learned how to land on my own. When you cut me off, I felt like you pushed me off a cliff. But lately, I have been wondering if maybe you just stopped standing under me. Tears pricked my eyes. Do you know what it felt like on my side? I asked. It felt like I was lying on the ground, and every time you fell, you landed on me. Everyone told me I was strong, but strength still breaks. Jessica nodded slowly. Our therapist says our family is enmeshed, she said, stumbling over the word. Too tangled. No one knows where they end and the other begins. You were the first one to cut a thread. We called it betrayal. Maybe it was surgery. How is Mom? I asked. She grimaced. Still dramatic. Still telling everyone you ruined her favorite daughter. But she also started seeing Dr. Patel. She is not ready to apologize the way you deserve. But she has not called you ungrateful in a while. Progress in my family looked like that. Messy, incomplete, but not static. I am not going to lie, Jessica said. There are days I still think you were cruel. There are days I think you took revenge on us. Were you right? I asked quietly. She thought about it. I think, she said slowly, you took revenge on the part of us that used you, the part that expected you to bleed for us forever. Maybe that part needed to die. The wind picked up. A leaf blew onto the bench between us. I am sorry, she added, voice breaking, for taking your money, for letting Mom hit you and pretending it was normal, for calling you selfish when you were the only one actually carrying anything. Tears slid down my cheek. I am sorry too, I said, for lying for you, for cleaning up every mess. I thought I was helping, but I was just helping you stay stuck. We sat there, two grown women trying to untangle years of damage with a few fragile sentences. Do you think we can ever be normal sisters? She asked. What is normal? I replied. Sisters who never fight? Or sisters who finally learn how to fight fair? She laughed softly. Fair would be a nice change, she said. As the sun began to set, my phone buzzed. A message from my mom. If you are with your sister, tell her dinner is at 7. If you want to come, there will be a plate for you. No expectations. Just dinner. No expectations. Was that possible? Could we ever have a relationship that was not built on demands and guilt? Or was that just something people in healthier families got to experience? I showed Jessica the message. So, she asked, are you going? I thought about the slap, the years of being used, the night I collected screenshots, the phone call with her boss, the way my mother had threatened, then begged, then fallen silent. Revenge had not looked like a movie scene with shouting and dramatic music. It had looked like saying no and meaning it. It had looked like letting the people who hurt me face their own consequences, even when it tore me apart. I might, I said. But this time, if I go, it is because I choose to, not because they expect me to. Jessica nodded. Can I ask you something? She said. Sure. Do you hate us? I thought about it for a long moment. No, I said finally. I hate who I had to be in this family. I hate the version of you and Mom that treated me like a resource instead of a person. But I do not hate you. That is why I stopped playing along. It was the only way any of us had a chance to change. She wiped her eyes. That sounds a lot like love, she whispered. Maybe it was. Maybe revenge and love were not always opposites. Maybe, sometimes, the most brutal revenge you can take on a toxic pattern is to refuse to repeat it, no matter how much it costs you. As we stood up to leave the park, I felt lighter. Not because everything was fixed, but because the rules had finally changed. If you were me, would you have done the same? Would you have let your family fall so they could learn to stand, even if they called it betrayal for the rest of your life? Or would you have gone back to the dinner table, swallowed the slap, and handed them your keys?